This is the Anycubic Kobra 4, Anycubic's latest FDM 3D printer specifically geared towards beginners. And today we'll do a comprehensive look of how this printer performs, the ease of setup, the pricing, and so much more. I of course have to address the elephant in the room before you start typing your comment. Yes, I know that this printer looks a lot like another popular 3D printer on the market right now. The Anycubic Kobra X, at least that's what I hear. That's what you were thinking, right? Don't worry, we'll be getting into some side-by-side details of the Kobra 4 and the Kobra X because I do think that those details are important. There will be timestamps down below for different topics in the video if you want to skip around, and additionally, I will have links to all the products and the STL files used in this video in the description. You should also know that Anycubic did sponsor this video and sent me the Kobra 4 as an early tester. However, all the takes in this video are mine, and oh boy, are there some hot ones. Finally, since this printer is geared towards beginners, I wanted to make this video geared towards beginners as well. So I'll be explaining some 3D printing workflows to get you started on your journey, but if there's questions that you have that I missed in this video, drop them in the comments down below and I'd love to get you started. With that said, grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's talk about the Anycubic Kobra 4. Let's kick things off with the unboxing and setup of the Kobra 4. One thing that warms my cold heart nowadays is the fact that most 3D printing companies are actually moving in the direction of having 3D printers show up mostly assembled already. Because back in my day, they showed up like a box of IKEA furniture. Even if this is your very first 3D printer, Anycubic made the process pretty simple while still doing a good job of protecting the printer from shipping. Side note, I thought that these two pieces of plastic were part of the printer that I couldn't figure out where to assemble them, but they're actually just for the purpose of keeping the printer safe during shipping. So congratulations, now you won't have to store these in a closet for 2 weeks in hopes that you figure it out later. There's also 4 areas on the printer that you will remove screws from, indicated with blue arrows. In full transparency, the ones on the front and the back of the printer are a little bit awkward to remove, but just take a deep breath and I promise you will get them out eventually. And you'll know that you've done this step correctly when all of the parts of the printer move freely now. This is a family-friendly establishment, so we're going to cover up those holes. And from there, you just have to screw on the tool head with the included screws into the 4 pre-drilled holes. If you did this step correctly, your tool head should now easily move across the top rail. When Anycubic sent me this printer, they gave me a combo unit which includes an Ace 2 Pro. This takes the Kobra 4 from being a single color printer to a 4-color printer. And while I live in Arizona and don't have this problem, if you live somewhere with a lot of humidity, these units can actually be nice for the purpose of filament storage. I'm sometimes asked how important climate control is for the room that you keep your 3D printer inside of. As far as temperature goes, pretty much anything that you're comfortable with, your printer will be just fine in. Now, it will depend on the specific filament that you're using, but across the board, once your humidity starts to get over about 50%, you can run into issues with stringing and cracking. The good news is the Ace 2 will eliminate that problem with the drying feature for you. The bad news is this setup altogether takes up a fair amount of desk space. With the Ace 2 and the Kobra 4, it's about 31 inches. And if you include the purge bin that you're probably going to want to print anyway, it comes out to about 37 inches. This is just a speculation, but I see these covers on the top of the Kobra 4 pop off pretty easily, so I'm not sure if they have plans to add a mount to this in the future, but it would be really nice if they did because desk space is a valuable resource. But back to setting up the Ace 2 Pro. You get 4 plastic tubes and each end will connect to the tool head on the top of the printer, as well as the pressure fittings on the back of the Ace 2 Pro. Finally, this little piece slots into the side of the printer and helps guide the plastic tubing out of the way. And fun fact, it looks like it was actually 3D printed. From there, just connect the power cables and you're basically ready to run your first print. After picking your language, connecting to the Wi-Fi, all that good stuff, it will ask you one more time to be super duper sure that you removed all of those screws. Be sure you did that. I don't know what would happen, but I doubt it's good. A few other features worth noting before we get into the actual printing process. The build plate itself is 260 millimeters cubed, which is a pretty decent size and good for printing most of the everyday files you'll see online. The printer supports filaments like PLA, PETG, and technically ABS, but I wouldn't recommend printing ABS without an enclosure, which this does not have. There is a camera and small light pre-installed on the Kobra 4 for monitoring your prints, and for those of you concerned about being monitored yourself, there's also a nice little cover. The camera also enables you to use 2 AI detection tools, and for those of you who are anti-AI, have no fear, these come pre-disabled and you manually have to enable them. I tried the foreign object detection and it actually works super well, which I really like because I constantly throw things on my 3D printers when they're not in use. On the other hand, spaghetti detection picks up if you have a crazy fail like this. I haven't had any fails on the Kobra 4 yet, but this would have come in handy on past printers. But now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's run some 3D prints. The Kobra 4 comes with a bunch of test files preloaded, and although it's a small detail, I
I love that they included a file for the purge bin. Shouldn't be that exciting, but for some reason, most printers don't do that. Anycubic was so kind to include a few grams of filament with the printer in the shade Inflammation Flush. They must have known that this printer was coming to me. How sweet of them. But if you're buying your first 3D printer, you're also going to want to pick up a few spools of filament with it, ideally ones with plastic spools on the outside. A question and concern I get a lot from people who are looking to get into 3D printing is, do you have to know how to 3D model to use a 3D printer? The good news is you definitely don't. Even years into 3D printing, I'm still a terrible modeler, and I almost primarily rely on all of my files coming from places like Maker Online. This is Anycubic's default program for files, and you can send them right to the slicer, which we'll talk about in a second. But there's a ton of other websites that I use, like Colts 3D, Thingiverse, and many more out there. To start, we'll just grab a Benchy, and if you're new to 3D printing, I guarantee you at some point in your 3D printing career, you will make one of these. For some reason, it is the most famous file I have ever seen. From here, we'll use the Anycubic slicer, which once again is a free software that lets you tell your 3D printer exactly how you want the file to be printed, and then from there, it automatically slices it into hundreds or even thousands of layers so that the 3D printer can print it. And from there, you can just remotely send the file to your printer without any USB drives or cables required. And just like that, you've made your first 3D print. Now, a Benchy is cool and all, but let's try how the multicolor works. However, first we need something to catch the printer poop. Ah, that's better. I have a bit of a tradition here where every time I get a new 3D printer, I print a banana-themed file. So to christen the Kobra 4, I printed a banana chicken. A bajicken, if you will. And yeah, it ran the print as expected. There's no weird bleeding, the layer lines look smooth. Basically, if you want a clean multicolor 3D print, this thing will get the job done. But in theory, this was a pretty easy file, so let's try pushing the Kobra 4 some more. Especially if you want to sell 3D prints eventually, a lot of people load a ton of the same print on a single plate. But this also means there's a lot more opportunity for failure. But once again, the Kobra 4 basically said game on and ran these with no problem. However, if you do run into a problem mid-print where one of the pieces fall off of the build plate, it actually has this really cool feature where you can exclude that specific object and then continue printing the rest of your plate without messing it up. Although this isn't the only printer on the market with this feature, it's the only printer I own with this feature, so it's very exciting to me. Now, this 3D printer is marketed as having a perfect first layer every time. Overall, things looked really good. There was a little roughness on the corners, but nothing that you would ever notice on an actual print once the layers continued. But I'm definitely curious to see how this continues over time, so stay tuned for future updates. A few other items to note about the experience of using this printer in the day-to-day. This printer is marketed as being fast with speeds up to 600 millimeters per second. And yes, if you compare this printer to traditional bed slingers like my Ender 3 back in the day, it's very fast. In 2026 though, I would say it prints at the speed that you would expect a modern 3D printer to print at. And if you've never run a 3D printer before, just know that that means hours for a print to finish, because I certainly did not know that before getting a 3D printer. Now, traditionally, I don't run a ton of functional prints with tight tolerances. However, I will say I was very impressed by this pizza puzzle and how well it printed the pieces to fit together. It seems simple and it seems obvious that it would work, but again, this is the type of thing that in the past on a cheap entry-level printer, I would have dreaded having to make. Another question I get surprisingly often is, do you need a PC to run a 3D printer? Right inside the Anycubic app, there's the same marketplace for STL files like I showed earlier on the computer. Currently, my workstation is an absolute disaster, so I grabbed this file for a tool organizer, and right from the app on your phone, you can actually do the whole process of slicing this file, configuring the settings, and sending it right to your printer. I will say I tend to like to do a little more customization with how I slice my files, so this typically isn't my favorite method for sending a print, but in a pinch, it can definitely get the job done. Now let's take a second to talk about the Kobra 4 versus the Kobra X, because even as somebody who's been 3D printing for years, it took me a second to figure out the difference between them. Starting out with how many colors they can support. The Kobra 4 is a 1-color printer by default, but you can buy the combo, which makes it a 4-color printer, and from there you can buy a second Ace 2 Pro, which makes it up to an 8-color printer. Whereas the Kobra X is a 4-color printer by default, and you can add up to 3 Ace 2 Pro units from there for a total of 19 color max, which on its own is a bit confusing because in my mind, I was like, wouldn't that be 20 colors? But I think one of the PTFE tubes that defaults on the Kobra X goes to feed the human centipede chain of Ace 2 Pros that you would have from there. Also, in full transparency, I've yet to see it in a 19-color 3D print file, but I'm sure it exists out there somewhere. Now let's talk about speed and efficiency of these printers. It's worth noting that if you're doing a lot of multicolor printing, the Kobra X is going to have less waste as well as run the print faster than the Kobra 4 due to its shorter distance between the filament cutter and the nozzle. However, in a single color setting, having the default print speed of 300 millimeters per second and the max print speed of 600 millimeters per second are identical across both machines. But to really oversimplify things, basically the Kobra 4 was designed to be an entry-level simple multicolor printer, whereas the Kobra X is a little more advanced with higher efficiency overall. But finally, and probably most important to many of you, let's get into the cost of these machines, noting that these are the prices that I have access to at the time of filming this video. However, prices of printers change pretty often, and if they have changed in the future, I apologize for not having the ability to time travel, but I am working on it. Starting with the most affordable option, the base single color Kobra 4, which comes in at $199 when you get it through Aliexpress. Why through Aliexpress? Good question. I don't know how or why these pricing choices were made. In fact, I'm just as curious as you. From there, we have the base 4-color Kobra X at $279 or the base single-color Kobra 4 through the Anycubic website. Next up is the 4-color Kobra 4 combo at $299 on AliExpress, or the same setup from the Anycubic website for $379. And from there, you can start stacking on Ace 2 Pro units to each of these until you have the max color setup for each printer respectively.
Now that we have all the details of the Kobra 4 laid out on the table, is it worth it? Just for giggles, let's for one brief moment think of this printer alone in a vacuum. I loved using this printer. It felt very reliable, it felt very premium, it felt very user-friendly in a way that anybody without 3D printing experience could jump in and use this printer and have success. And if we consider the single color price of $199 a few years ago, this would have seemed like an absolute dream come true, like such a good bargain. I paid way more than this for my first 3D printer, and it was a way worse experience in every single way. However, it's 2026, and when we look at the Kobra 4's pricing and features side by side with the Kobra X, the Kobra 4 is a great product.
Especially thinking about the value for beginners. But ultimately, I think it's good to look at both and decide what features and pricing makes the most sense for your use case.
That said, I do think it's really important to note that I do not personally have a Kobra X. My opinion on this is coming solely from the opinions of my friends who are also 3D printers who have hands-on experience with the Kobra X and have had amazing things to say about that printer. I trust them, and I think across the board so far, the feedback on that printer has been really positive. If you look back historically throughout my videos, one thing that I have historically said about 3D printing for beginners is I do think single color printing is a really good option to start with. The truth about getting a 3D printer is a lot of people love it and they're going to get so many printers after that. But there's also a lot of people who just want to test it out and it might not be for them, and getting into it for a cheap and simple way sometimes is a really good way to just get your feet wet with 3D printing. If we live in the world where we say that you are somebody who's not super tech savvy, you're not super committed to printing things in multicolor, you want hands-on experience with a printer that's going to be easy to use, it's going to be reliable, it's going to be nice, and on top of all that you feel comfortable shopping on AliExpress, then maybe the $199 single color model of the Kobra 4 is for you. If you got it, I do truly think you'd enjoy using the printer. I enjoyed using it, I'm going to keep using it. But I also think that it is a very, very small group of people that it makes sense for. But as always, I'd love to hear your takeaway or your experiences in the comments down below. Additionally, there was a lot of questions you guys had on the topic of 3D printing for beginners that didn't quite fit into this video. So I am going to be making a separate dedicated video specifically on that topic as a whole, answering all of your burning questions. So if you have more that you didn't see here and you want answered, drop those down below. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see when that video comes out. But otherwise, thank you so much for sticking around until the end, and happy 3D printing.